Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create this design right here. It's a nice, simple one, and I'm going to talk about how you can scale it out to create what could be hundreds of designs. So if you are interested in learning about this, go ahead and stick around. Okay, so here I am on Canva's home page, and I will be creating a design for a t-shirt today. And since we are in the time of year where people are, doing a lot of baseball, we will be making a baseball design. And again, there's lots of different ways you can go with baseball in terms of who you're marketing the design for. So you can market a baseball design, for example, for a player. You can market it for a coach. You can market it for a parent. You can market it for a fan. So lots of different ways that you can go with your baseball style designs. And, some really popular ones are the baseball mom style shirts where, you get your proud moms who want to wear their proud baseball mom shirts to their kids' games. And so those you can see a lot of. And so that's what I'm going to be doing today, one of those types of designs. And so we're going to go ahead and start with a custom size here. And it's going to be 4500 by 5400 pixels. Now I do typically like to design for black because that is the, top selling color. But for this design, I'm going to do something that would work on either a black shirt or a white shirt. And the reason is sometimes people like to get those Raglan shirts because they're baseball style shirts. And those will typically come with either a white or a light gray center. So you have to have something that's going to show up good there. But I also want it to be versatile. I want you to be able to wear it on a black shirt. So with that in mind, what we're going to do is pick some brighter colored fonts that are bright enough to show up on black, but also dark enough to show up on white. And we're going to go ahead and do sort of a fun baseball style design. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to leave this background color white. And what we're going to do is start with a little text box up top. So I'm just going to hit T on my keyboard. And this design is going to say Home Plate Social Club, and it's going to say Loud and Proud Moms. And it's going to have sort of that, kind of classic-y style. So I'm going to start all caps. I'm going to put home plate right there across the top. And so it's going to go there. I'm going to pull up another text box down here. This one's going to say social club. That is going to go somewhere down here. I'm going to pull up another text box. This one is going to say loud and proud moms. Or it could be loud and proud moms, loud and proud mom. So let's just do mom. By the way, Mother's Day is coming up soon too, so it could be a nice Mother's Day shirt as well. When you think of Mother's Day, most mothers aren't going to wear a shirt that says Happy Mother's Day, but you do want to make shirts for mom. So this would be a shirt for mom that you could give her for Mother's Day, even though it's not a Mother's Day shirt. But it's a great way to combine moms and baseball. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more text boxes. One is going to say established, and that's going to go over here. Right, you can see the way that this layout is going. And I can hit Control D if I want it to be close to the same size, doesn't matter. And this one, you're going to pick a year. And so this is sort of one of those where you can go a couple different ways. I mean, I could create one that says established like 2024, like this is a new club. I could put one that's, meant to just look old-fashioned-y, so established 1922 or something like that. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and do here too. So I'm going to put 1922. I just picked that year randomly, but just to make it look old. You could put out, theoretically, a whole bunch of versions of this exact same shirt and just keep changing the year established so that maybe you could have it be established whatever year is, important for the person who's buying it, whether it's a birth year, a year that somebody actually started playing, a year that somebody became a grandma. I mean, you know, people will come up with ways that, oh, this year is important to me because. So theoretically, yeah, you could put up a whole bunch of these and just have lots and lots of different years on them. And that's one way that you could scale that one design out a ton. But anyways, I'm just saying that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put something like 1992. So you can see the way that this is going to look, and we're going to have a little element in here. We'll change the colors, we'll change the fonts. I'm going to put a little curve on the top, and so you can see how this is looking. But it's a really fast design, and of course you could also scale this out for dads. You could scale it out for different sports, and so you can see lots of different ways you could just take this one kind of design style and just scale, scale, scale. So let's go ahead and put baseball here. Sorry, I went up to my Elements tab and we're doing a search for graphics now. I kind of got ahead of myself. And so now we're looking at different baseball graphics that might look good here. Now I do want it to be something that's just your basic, you know, two-tone, just like, or not even two-tone, one-tone silhouette style. So something like that, something like just a baseball, the crossed bat. So any of those might look good in the middle. And so you can look around and see what you think would look good as a centerpiece. And this is another one where you could scale it out and just have different centerpieces in here too. So, I mean, I could make a bunch of versions of this with a different centerpiece, I guess, inside. And so like here's one that has a little baseball and the crossed bats that might look good. And here we've got some just different laces. So you can just put laces in the middle. And so I like the ones that have the little diamond there. Looks good too. If you can find one with a diamond, I think that looks nice. Here's a diamond that has bats, and the diamond looks like a baseball. And so you can scroll down, look for whatever you think looks best, or again, make several versions of it. And this one's kind of cool. I like it's got the diamond in it and the bats, and I can change the color. That's important. Not that I couldn't always find a way to change the color if I needed to, but it's nice if I make it easy on me. And so you can see how I'm just kind of like looking down here to see what else I might find that's any good. I've done this a few different ways, and so I haven't used this particular graphic yet, but it's a good graphic, so no reason why you couldn't. Yeah, this is a kind of cool graphic here. Not that I would use it for this. Baseball championships. I like the cross there, though. Yeah, so there's some really cool kind of pre-made baseball stuff that you could definitely utilize. I mean, I could even put like the laces around here if I wanted to. That would be a little bit different, but that would be one way to like frame it in, something like that, but it would be all the same color, so I'm not sure I'd want to do that. Here's another one here that has the bats, the diamond, and the ball. So really make it simple that you know it's baseball, and so that's another option there. So I decided to just go ahead and go over to my recently used to see the ones that I had picked out prior. And so the one that I liked the most out of my recently used was actually this one right here. And now that I've picked it, it pulls up a lot of different magic recommendations that I could have used that are all very similar styles that are kind of cool there. But I've got the ball, I've got the bats, I've got the diamond. It looks good. I can change the color. So we're just going to go ahead and go with this, right? And so we're going to have to pick some fonts. We're going to have to kind of get the layout right. And so let's go ahead and start at the top. So with the home plate, I want it to be kind of a sporty look. So there's a lot of cool university sports style fonts. If you were to just go ahead and do a search, by the way, you could search for like sports on your fonts, and it'll pull up different fonts that they think look sporty that you can try out different ones. So that one there is Sports World, and that's a good one right there that you might like to use. It's a little wider than I'd like, and what that means is that I can't get the text too big because it's already filling out the whole top of the page. If I get something that's a little bit narrower, then I can make this fit a little bit better. So here's another one, Graduate. It's a little bit narrower, actually not that much, just not as bold. And then here's the one that I liked the best was Yearbook Solid. So Yearbook Solid still gave me that nice sporty look, right? But I was able to get it so it's a little bit bigger, so it's a little tighter, a little bit bigger. So I'm going to start there. And then I'm going to go ahead and curve this text. So what I want to do is go up to Effects, come over to Curve, and I want a subtle curve. So it doesn't have to be anything really big or dramatic. I just want it to look subtly curved. And so something like that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and now make my centerpiece look nice and big. I'm going to take my years down. I'm going to be picking some fonts for those too, but let's go ahead and just sort of bring those down a little bit so I can see the way this is going to lay out. Now, Social Club, I want it to be sort of more of a scripty font. And so with this one, I did some searching. And again, if you're ever just sort of looking, you can go up and put like script and search through fonts to find out what you like. And sometimes it takes playing with it a while to see the one that you think is the best. So the one that I went with was just something really simple. So let's see, I think I just went with this Nexus script here. Yeah, so there's the Nexus script. And I did like that one because it gave it, again, a nice kind of old-fashioned look. And so I could pull that up, center it. And so something like that looked good. And then I just had these, which I wanted to be sort of a little bit more simple and just regular. So again, if I was looking for more of a simple font, I might do something like a search corporate, and it's going to pull up all sorts of different corporate style fonts. So those are just sort of the, you know, really basic ones. And the one that I liked was one that's called Alike. Alike is probably the one that I use the most when I'm looking for this style of fonts, because it's a little bit bold. Not too bold, but I can actually bold this one. So if I wanted this one to be bolder, I could. But I think I want that contrast between the bold and the less bold. And so I've got something there. Social Club, Loud and Proud Mom. And I can sort of decide how I want to space all of this. Might want to make that a little bit bigger there, going that way. I do want to make my established a little bit bigger. And I do need these to be the same size. So if that's a 271, I need this one to also be 271, which I can do that way. And they're lined up and they look pretty nice. I've got the same distance to the edge of the page for both of those. Now, obviously, this is a little bit longer than this. If you wanted it to look a little bit closer, what you could do is change the spacing. So if I went to established and then I went up to the spacing up top and I added just a little bit more spacing in the letters, something really, you know, mild, but it's going to make it look a little bit more, you know, close to the same length as that one. And so that's what I'm liking so far. Now, this obviously works well on a white shirt, but if I put it on a black shirt, obviously you would lose. You would lose this because you put it on a black shirt and the text and everything would be gone. So what I want to do is just use some colors here that would show up on either one. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to go ahead and just go with blue and red. So if it's on a white shirt, it's going to be obviously red, white, and blue. And if it's on a black shirt, you're just going to have the red and the blue and the black. And so let's go ahead and do that. And so I'm just going to sort of start staggering some of these colors. So the first one I'm going to look at is going to be red for the home plate. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade of red that I want. And honestly, that just basic shade right there looks pretty good. And I might just use that. But if I wanted to, you know, play with it some more, I could go up to the little plus where it says add new color, and I could play with the shade of red, make it a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, brighter, you know. But remember, I do want it to also show up on black. So, you know, something like that, a nice bright red looks good. And then from there, what we're going to do is probably make this red. So again, text color, let's make that nice and red, which means that I want this to be blue. And so let's go ahead and pick a blue here. And again, I can use that blue, or I can play with the shade of blue by going up here to the add new color. And I might go ahead and make that blue a little bit brighter too. Once I've got the blue that I like, I'm just going to select it here. So now you can see the way that that is looking. I do want to put maybe some stars here under these two, so I'm deciding whether I want this to be blue and the stars to be red. I'm probably going to go ahead and do that, so let's just make this the whole center kind of blue. And I'm going to put some stars under here and make those stars red. So let's go ahead, go back up to upload, not upload, sorry. Go back up to your elements. I'm still at my recently used, so I have the stars that I used right here, which I actually like these, the little 3-star ones. But you can just do a search for stars, and you could obviously do this by just putting 3 separate stars, or you can look for the grouping of stars that looks something like that. Obviously, I just pulled up a star there. And so you can play with how you like to do that. I'm going to go ahead and use this little grouping because I thought that that looked cool, and I think I'm going to put it sort of right under like that. Now I'm deciding if I want to bring this up maybe a little bit, and then bring this up a little bit, something like that. I'm going to make these stars here red. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this, make sure it's lined up, and then I can just duplicate my stars, hit my Control D, duplicate, and come right back over here, make sure that that is lined up. And so now that is looking really good. Now I can decide, maybe this is a little less bold than I like. Maybe I will go ahead and do the bold and see how that looks, if the bold looks better on all of these. It's definitely going to make it show up more. And so yeah, that looks pretty cool. So you're going to see that that is going to show up really well on a light colored shirt. So you can definitely do it with the white shirt. But if I was to now change this background color and say, hey, no, I'm going to do it on a black shirt, it's still going to show up. I mean, you're going to have the darker colors, but you're still going to be able to see it. And so you could definitely sell this on some different color shirts. And of course, if you wanted to make 2 different versions, sometimes you can make just a version of a design for a white shirt and a version of a design for a dark shirt. So this could be my white shirt version, and then for my dark shirt, I could change some of these to like some whites, you know, put some whites in here, and instead of the blues, or make the blues a lot lighter, or give it more of a faded, you know, old look. So let's say I'm going to duplicate this just to show you, and let's say this is going to be my white version up top, because that version looked really well on white. Now I've got my dark version, and maybe I want my dark version to have some white in it. So maybe I add some white to my dark version here. Maybe I go ahead and change some of these blues. Let's make it more of like a faded blue, so it's going to look a little bit more old-fashioned. And I can sort of play with that. Once I get the faded blue the way I want, I can do that. And then my reds, again, make that a faded red. So I'm getting sort of that old-fashioned-y, sort of general grunge look. More time here. Boom, something like that. And that could be my version for dark shirts, you know, so you can see the way that you can sort of just play with that. I could also make this more of like an off-white if I really wanted it to look more like it's sort of a little bit more grungy. Maybe make it more of a grayish, or maybe even a little bit more of a orangey, off-white kind of gray. Something just short of actually being totally white, you know, so that's going to give it more of that sort of grungy, old-fashioned look. And so I could also, if I was going to do it this way, go ahead and use some more like textured fonts too. And so some of those textured fonts might look good, like the grunge style fonts, if I was going to make it look a little bit more old-fashioned. But so there you have one for a dark shirt, and then here you have one that's nice and bright for a white shirt. And again, so I could do it like that, and I could scale this out with the, you know, with the years. I could scale it out by doing moms and dads. I could scale it out by doing different sports. And so lots of different ways that you can take this one design and turn it into 100 designs. And this was a really quick one to make too, so it didn't take me very long. And once I get my template, then it's very easy to scale out, very quick and easy. And so there's my template right here. I'm going to go ahead and download this. So I'm going to hit share. I'm going to download. It's a PNG. I'm going to use a transparent background. I've got 2 pages now, so I'm going to pick the page that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with page 1. And I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to hit download. It will download it, and then it will be ready to put on a shirt. So then you can upload it to merch. You can upload it to a print company like Printful or Printify or whatever you use to print it, and it is, you know, pretty much ready to go. And you know, if you happen to sell digital downloads, I really haven't talked about digital downloads or digital sales, but if you were going to do something like that, this style of design where it's just more that silhouette solid color, you could save that as an SVG, as a vector file, and sell it as a digital download where people at home could use their, you know, what's it called, circuit machines? I don't have one, but my sister does, to create their own shirts at home. And so that's another way that you could go with this potentially. I know there's a lot of digital downloads being sold on Etsy, not only for print-on-demand sellers, but for at-home use for people who just make their own shirts at home. So just another way to look at it. If you have any questions about this, drop it in the comments section below. I try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. I hope you guys are doing really well with your second quarter. I hope you're starting to think ahead, and I do hope to see you guys again soon. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.